Hi there, happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great day so far. My name is Rudo and I review African literature. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book of poetry by Valentine Tusai, who is a Zimbabwean poet based in Zimbabwe, Bulawayo, and his book is called Lippa. I will be reading a few of his poems and discussing them with you, and let's get into the video. So I'm just going to read his background or what he's all about. So Valentine is mostly known as Saint Vals in poetry circles and has been featured in various poetry anthologies and newspaper publications. He runs an online poetry series called Poetical Tattoos, which has spent 16 seasons to date and has featured more than 50 poets from Africa. And just to give you a feel of the book, I'm just going to read the synopsis of the book of poetries. And Lost in Paradise, which is Lippa in short, is a compilation of poems by Valentine Tusai. The poems dwell on fortunate experiences, awkward moments, and unusual episodes. This book has gems which has a touch of fiction and reality, all of them inspired by the life of the poet. So this book has over 60 poems, and I'm just going to read a few of my favorites. And the first one I'm going to read is called Aurora, and it's about a father who is very excited to welcome his new daughter into the world. So it's like a poem of appreciating and that final moment when you get to hold your child. Here it goes. Aurora, welcome to the fresh air, the 9 months inside your mama. I couldn't wait to meet you. When the scan said girl, I said, oh girl, the princess we've been waiting for. It's good to see you breathing, heart beating, hand clasping. A daughter, a father's joy. My duty to raise a queen, a woman of valor. Your eyes pierce into my soul. I see innocent and pure. Oh girl, daddy's little girl, mama's whole world, my little angel. So the reason why this one stood up for me is I've rarely been exposed to men who really truly appreciate when new life is brought into the world, mostly because I feel like most, not all by the way, most, they just think like once a child is born they belong to the mother. But this one seems like he's fully engaged, he's fully aware of the blessing that is in his life, and you can tell that he's super excited and he's willing and he's going to take care of his child. And as I've learned, your father or a father is a girl's first love. So you can tell from this one that the father is going to love this girl and she's going to have an understanding of what love is, not to settle, because it seems like he's so eager to have received her, and she was, she's a miracle, and they're super excited for that. So it really stood out for me, and this is something that I would want to, someone who's like excited to welcome a child, in their lives with you. Yeah, I think I really like this one. So the next poem I'm going to read is called Where Are They Now? And this is a poem about a heartbreak when you ask the people who you used to love how they turn out, they turn out to be sour and stuff. And yeah, I'll get into it. So it reads, where are they now? Where do they go? The God-sent angels that fall with your heart. How do they live with themselves? After toying with your emotions like yo-yos, you found me in my wretchedness and oiled the crevices. I skipped a heartbeat for the first time. I smiled my gums out like a lunatic. No movie could compare with the emotion. Titanic is nothing on us. If we could communicate without speaking, sweat without breathing, teleport without reporting, no life could be told to a mind reader. You read my mind and I could tell your lies. Why do they leave? Where, when you gave them a part of you? Why teach me to feel but not how to heal? I compared your successes to you and they never matched up. What the hell do you think you are? Come to think of it, did you even exist? Frankly, only infatuation can make one long for the foregone, casting my emotions where they do not belong, negating the blessings that come my way, reminiscing on expired goods. If the devil sent you, be gone. Stop lingering in my mind. Lousy demon. So I'm really sure you can feel the emotions in this one, like how bitter it is, how bitter the poet is, not him personally, it's just the poetry, the words that is, how it shows how this person is like broken. Like usually after a heartbreak, I think it's quite normal or expected that there's a wrong and a right, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you just don't, you're just not a good match, and you don't always have to like be in bad terms. But obviously there are the different cases, and you can tell that this person was really hurt, how they gave the all and then they had to be broken. Now they're asking, where do they go, why do you do that? And I think this is from a perspective of someone who doesn't get closure, because most people say that after a breakup, I need to understand why, but it's not everyone who's going to give you closure. I think the biggest thing you can do for yourself, the best thing you can do for yourself, is give yourself closure, because not everyone is going to give that to you. Some people, they just disappear and that's it. Sometimes people, they don't even explain why they do that to you. So I think the best thing, if currently now or you have been holding on for someone to say sorry to you, I think the most powerful thing for you to do is just to let go. It's hard, of course. We want people to like apologize, we want people, we need that closure, that feeling of knowing, okay, now I'm settled, but it's not everyone who's guaranteed to have that. So I think even if you have access to it, just be okay with moving on. But I think it's very important that there are people actually write out their feelings like this, because we all go through this, or we've gone through this, or we'll go through this. And I think it's very powerful, for someone to really ask these questions, because most of the time it's like, oh, I'm fine, I can do all bad by myself. But can you really? There will come a point in time when all those emotions have to come up. But yeah, this is what I really enjoyed about it. It's very candid, and it's very it really expresses the emotions after a breakup, or even after a long time when you're trying to process your emotions and stuff. So yeah, one of my favorites. So the next poem I'm going to read is called The Type of Guy, and this one is bonkers, you guys. Like, and I think it's a collaboration, because at the bottom it says by Sue and Valentine, so I think it's a collaboration. I'll let you guys decide. Okay, I just thought this was like okay, so it goes. I rise up in the morn, appreciate the blessing of life. I kneel down, pray at dawn. Then I write a letter to my future wife. She stays down the road, so I dare not to tell her my thoughts, lest I disturb her current progress in life. I hide in the hedge and gawk at her as she walks by. You don't have to know my name, what I do, or where I come from. You don't have to recognize my voice or know what I look like. I'm not like those crazy stalkers we see on TV, the murderers on ID Extra that will kill for petty things. I will love you from afar. I know I'm not of your stature, but I will be your guardian angel from afar. I'm the kind of guy that will fill the potholes on the road you take to work, so that the bumps don't mess up your ride. I will defend you every time these lousy guys try and talk foul about you, because you're perfect and you deserve the best. I know your favorite sports and your preferences, even the places you like to go alone when you want to think. You can't stay single when there's someone that knows your heart so well. I'm the guy who will set you up with the guy you've always wanted, even though you are the one I always wanted. I will tell him everything about how to get a girl like you. I'll even be his best man, so I can keep an eye on him. I'm the type of guy who loves Holly, the guy that will be there for you even if you don't know I exist. Okay, I think this is crazy, to be honest. I think this is like stalker behavior 1.0, because it kind of gave me the sense of like male besties. There was this discussion. There's a girl called Malika Diva on Twitter, and they have a podcast called Girls in Skies. Make sure you check that out. And she always emphasizes on this relationship between a guy and a girl, that it can never work out, because somehow there's always someone who's too interested in the other one. Even though this one, it kind of seems like the guy is not friends with her, but still I kind of got that vibe, I, for one, am the notion that, you know, a guy and a girl can be friends and there's nothing that can happen. But after reading this, and also like from what I've heard from people, not that I'm totally discarding it, but I think they exist, you know, where there's nothing romantic at all. You know, no one really, you know, there is just mutual friendship, you know. And after reading this, it just got me back to that, because there was a thread on Twitter this other time when there was a guy who was saying that he bathes with his best friend, and then there's nothing that has ever happened. They even sleep in the same bed, and there was actually a big debate about it. And then what I'm getting from this kind of guy is the kind of guy who stays in the friend zone, you know, and then after a while it was like, oh, you know, you've kept me in the friend zone for so long, are you not going to give me a chance? You know, and you know each and every single thing that you do, you know, like what you like, what you don't like. We'll even be there to hold your hand when you're going through your breakups, you know. But I feel like this is just me, you know. I'm not saying this is like a fact, but this is what I think. I think like if you're someone who's in this kind of relationships, or you like a girl, say it with your chest, okay? Most girls, we will know that you like us, but you're waiting for you to say it with your chest, because we can't be doing the work for you. Go for what you like, and if they don't like you back, that's okay, you know. At least now you know you can move on, you know, rather than you just staying then you just wishing upon a star, you know, being the perfect guy for her, you know. And it's not because there's something wrong with you. Sometimes it's just not going to happen, you know. And I think we need to be okay with that, because most times we always think that if you're perfect for someone, then it has to work. Sometimes it doesn't work like that, and I think that's something that we should not, you know, that's something that we should leave room for, that even if you're like connecting with someone, it's not always it's going to work. Of course, I'm not saying it's never going to work, but shoot your shot. If you get turned down, that's fine, then move on to the next one, you know, rather than wasting time, or your valuable time and, you know, your emotion. Then you end up in a situationship, and then you break your own heart, you know, because I feel like sometimes you end up being in a relationship on your own, you know, without the other person even knowing. And then when they get in a relationship, then you're like, oh, okay, but I've been here, but did you say it though? And I know it also happens to the best of us as women, you know, as girls. We also get friend zoned, by the way, okay. And it's 2021, you guys. Like, so many things are happening. It's a freaking pandemic, okay. Just say it to the person you like. Tell them that you like them. If they don't, then on to the next one, okay? You'll be fine. Next poem I'm going to read is called Take Control, and here it goes. This life thing is once off. Look disappointment in the face and tell it to fuck off. The zeal to do the most should never be lost. The will to do best should comfort you. Your body is a temple. Enthusiasm makes you able. Your heart is the fairest. Let the light shine through. Turn your situation into an opportunity. Wherever you are, you can always be a star. So what I liked about this poem is it's very encouraging, especially with what we're going through now. You know, people have lost their jobs, the pandemic. And speaking for myself, I'm a person who struggles to think positively, you know. I think like because there's so much that has went wrong in my life, it's very hard for me to like keep a positive attitude towards life. I kind of dwell on the negative stuff a lot, and it's been my 2021 resolution, or I don't like calling them resolution because I just feel like, yeah. But anyway, it's my goal for 2021 to be more positive minded, you know, to be more trusting in God, for me to just leave everything in God's hands. And I think this poem is very reassuring, because if I don't do it for myself, I can't wait for someone else to do it. You know, I have to take the action for me to be actually like, okay, Rudo, now you need to, you know, go for what you want, keep a positive mind. Even if you get disappointed, always leave room for disappointment, you know, because I think the way I think, it's I can't have this black or white narrative, you know. Either something is good or bad, you know. And I think I'm learning to find gray areas. I'm yet to know and understand where this really came from, because I'm also doing this journey of like trying to understand why I'm the way I am sometimes, you know, why I'm always thinking about negative things, and why that actually cripples me from, you know, pursuing what I want. So I'm learning to take control of my emotions, you know, that to understand that they're not always right? And I think this summarizes that you need to take control of your own life, because no one else is going to do it for you. I'm not going to be waiting here for someone to save me. I've already been saved. It's just a matter of me putting in the work. And yeah, I really liked it because it's encouraging you to like where it says turn your situation into an opportunity, because I think most times when something bad is happening, like for example, most people have lost their jobs at the moment because of the pandemic, and it's no one's fault. It's not it's not because they're lazy, but other people, they've been able to like spin that around. And if you're not able to spin that around, that's okay, because this thing literally caught everyone unaware. But just to have faith, just to keep a positive mindset. And I know this kind of sounds religious, because you're probably thinking, okay, how can I keep the faith? How can I be positive minded when there's nothing to look at? But I feel like with everything that's going on, you never know, there's going to be like an opportunity for you, like just for you to keep a positive mind and just to keep going, and also to take care of your mental health. So I think that's something that I've taken from this, just to take control of your own life, and not to think that what has happened to someone will happen to you. We have our own lives, we have our own journeys, and I think we need to take control of that, and for us to put in the work for us to get the best results. So the next poem I'm going to read and review is called Tendai, and I think this is Tendai. So some of them, they actually come with pictures, and I think it's his wife. I'm not really sure, but from what I've read, I think there are like 2 or more poems about Tendai, but I'll read this one because I like this one. So here it goes. Tendai. I'm just a chunk of coal. She stood beside me like a piece of foil. I have an electrical goal. She looked down and her heart reflected the soil. So, who's a piece of dirt? If you fall down, you get hurt. If I rise up, I get burnt. We don't float through the atmosphere like dust. We just lay down and deplete the air like crust. Or we shoot up like blue Lamborghinis in the blue sky. You see, most of the things I say don't end up making sense. You fell in love with me at your own expense. I'm always appreciative, and I tell the inconsiderate not to hate. I'll wake up early so that I won't be late. Who has never wished they couldn't fly? I'm always thankful, and I tell them that this is Tendai. This woman is a flame. She fires up my charcoal. She's the concrete in my foundation, the gas in my soul. She puts flowers in my vase. I'm talking about my soul. Goldfish in my fish tank. I'm talking about my soul. I'm going to misunderstand her, and she's going to misunderstand me, because we've both been hurt. I'm going to comprehend her, and she's going to apprehend me, as if I'm reading my rights in a prison cell. Loyalty is a commodity. It is respect with royalty. Insanity is genuine. It's our little piece of reality. Loving your heart is my specialty. The only task I find painless. So, I think, and I hope I'm correct, I think this was to his wife or girlfriend, but I think his wife, because there's another one about Tendai, but I'll read that one too. And I think it's very nice, for someone to actually understand that, when you're going through a relationship or marriage. I've never been married, so I wouldn't know, but from what I've seen, what I've heard from friends and family, it's never completely perfect. You have moments, ups and downs, even in like a regular relationship. Sorry to say that, but that's the best I could come up with at the moment. But even in a relationship, there are ups and downs. You misunderstand each other. You have arguments. But I like that with this one, he understands that there are times they're not going to understand each other. Also because like she's her own individual, and he's his own person. So obviously, because of different backgrounds, you tend to misunderstand each other. But what I think is very important is for you to come together and actually talk about it. I think that's more powerful, rather than you just sitting and seething in your own misunderstandings. I think it's very important that they actually fall back together and then they talk things through, and yeah, I really like that. And also like how we say that this woman is a flame, she fires up my charcoal. It's very nice as a woman to have someone who really appreciates you and says things with their chest. I'm an advocate for people who actually say what they want and say things with their chest, because you can't leave room for people to guess. If you want something, if you need something, if you feel something, say it. And I know that most people are like, oh, growing up I was never taught, or I never really expressed myself. I saw a tweet earlier, I hope I'm not going to butcher it, but it said that a child who is told not to say they're hurt is a grown-up who grows up not expressing their feelings. And I think as you grow up, there's a certain point in time you have to start parenting yourself, because obviously this happened in the past and you can't go back there. So it's not, sadly, it's now your responsibility for you to nurse yourself and to parent yourself. So I think it's very important, for someone who really appreciates and who knows that the ups and downs in relationships, and they don't run away, they stand with their partner and they fight through them. And I like how he also appreciates her, that she's the concrete in my foundation. She puts flowers in my vase, which is his soul. You need someone who actually fulfills your soul, not someone who just drains and takes and takes and takes. It can be very exhausting. So I think it's very important for you to also have someone who gives as much as you give, for you at least to have an understanding. And also, I think it's very nice, and I kind of like that, this one. So okay, the next poem I'm going to read is called Poetical Tattoos, and here it goes. She asked if my poems are true stories. I said no, it's all fiction. She wondered if the words she read were feelings I felt. I lied and said that is all creativity. Right now she's also a poem. That's going to be read by someone else who will also ask if my poems are true stories. Feelings are universal. Poetry is the ink tattooed on my soul. So I think this one is quite clear. I like that, as creatives, most creatives, writers, poets, there's always a piece of them in all of their works. Even myself as a writer, in my stories, there's a piece of me in all of them. It could be like a character, it could be an event, it could be something that I experienced. We always tend to write our feelings and put a piece of us in there. And what I like about poets is they have this way of expressing themselves, which is relatable to everyone. Because when he says feelings are universal, poetry is the ink tattooed on my soul. I like that they can express themselves and we can all relate. And I once tried poetry, but I sucked at it. But I really appreciate people like Valentine, who actually put our feelings on paper so that we can read them and understand them. Like, for example, at the beginning of this video, I wasn't feeling very well, but now I'm actually quite eager to keep reading more. So this has actually put me in a better mood as before, and I'm grateful for that. So last but not least, I'm going to read a poem called Such a Woman, and let's get into it. So it reads: you are so much a woman, any grateful heart would be thankful. You are so much a lady, any brave heart would never give you heartbreak. Your beauty deserves a poem from a poet who will scream your totem. Your attention deserves appreciation, like a donation to a hungry nation. If I were to handle you like I meant to, and follow your touch wherever it leads, I held you in my gentleness, feeling you melt with your fondness. Last night could have been hours to die. You look like a garden of flowers in my eyes. My heart is considering you tonight. You are spicy like hot wings and stir fry. When a woman is mentioned together with food, it means she's appetizing and a pleasure to be devoured. She's mouth-watering and can fulfill to the soul. She'll leave you satisfied and eager to accomplish your goals. So it's not just food, honey. It's not just your body, dummy. It's us suppressing feelings that could mend like a healing. Just imagine the feeling. It's thrilling. So first of all, obviously, I liked it because he's appreciating women. I like poems which really appreciate women, okay? I don't think there's any woman who doesn't like that, And I like that, his comparison to food with her, it wasn't really sexual. It was more of the warmth that she brings. And I also like how he's expressing himself, that she's such a beauty, she deserves a poem. I think every girl deserves a poem. So do guys, but mostly girls. I have never really met guys who like, poems. I don't think so. If they are, please, by all means, tell us. If any girl has ever written you a poem, I write letters, but I've never really written anyone a poem. Well, I have, but it wasn't directly to the person. It was more on my blog. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I really like this one because he's appreciating a woman, Tendai to be specific, which is what I think is his wife. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed this book of poetry. I think I'm enjoying poetry at this moment in time. I think I'm enjoying poetry more because it could be maybe because things are a bit unsettled because of this whole pandemic. Now we're back in this national lockdown, and just trying to process my feelings as time goes on. Like I said before, just trying to keep a positive mind, and this one has really helped me. This has really helped me. And yeah, by all means, you guys, be sure to check it out. It's not very big. As always, poetry books are quite small, and this one also has pictures, for you to get an image of what exactly he's saying. And I also liked his diction. It's very simple English. I like it especially when you're someone who's trying to get into poetry, because I think most people, when they hear poetry, they think Shakespeare, thou art thy, or lady maiden. But no, with African literature, they write the way they understand things. They write from their point of view. So I think it's very important. If you're someone who's trying to get into poetry, by all means, this is the book for you. And yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. And I want to thank you guys for helping me reach over 200 subscribers. And because of that, I'm going to do a book giveaway. This time around, I'm giving away 2 books, and that's going to be House of Stone and We Need New Names. And I'm just going to put them over here so that you can see the price. And I'll put on the description below how you can enter. And thank you for today. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.